this final video I want to show you how to summarize all the codings you've made in an Excel report. So I'm going to start by closing down the project map we just created, and then I'm going to go into output and then extracts, and then we're looking for coding summary by code extract. That's the right one, which is this one. Double click on it and then click on OK. And now it's asking where does it want me to save. I want to be on the desktop, but it's very important that you change the file type to Excel. So the one we want is the Excel with the X on the end, not the 2007 one. Click on save, and now you can see it's saving at the bottom. Then it tells you it's been saved. Now what we need to do is just minimize NVivo for now, and now we can see the file is here. I'm just going to double click on it. So this is what the file looks like when we've created it. So it has a number of columns, and some of them are not so useful. They're just all say the same thing. They're not really useful information. So what I'm going to do is first of all press Ctrl and A to select everything, and then there's a button called Wrap Text. You press that twice, then it organizes the data. And the next thing I want to do is click on this triangle to select everything and then change the font. So I don't like the Calibri font, I prefer Arial. That's looking better. And the next thing I want to do is to start to delete some of the columns we don't need. So we don't need column B because it's just saying the word node. I don't need that one because it's empty. Don't need that one, aggregate, it's just always saying no. List order might be useful. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to double click here, make that a bit narrower. Also I can double click on column A. So that's got the name of the category or the node. This is the name of the file it's come from. Column D we don't need, that's just saying document all the way down. Now this next one we don't need, it's just blank. Next one we don't need. And then we've got coverage. So this is useful, but unfortunately you can see there's a little exclamation mark here. It's saying the number in this cell is formatted as text. So what's happened is these are all text formatted. So if you press the Shift key and then you can press down arrow or maybe page down. Page down just happens to be exactly the right number. And what we need to do is convert these into a number. So if we click on this little triangle and convert to number, it turns them all into a number. So this is actually a coverage amount of the document by that particular code. So it's probably better to display this as a percentage. I'm going to click on this button here, and then maybe we can have 1 decimal place. So we add 1 decimal place and then double click. So then we have a nice column of information here. So that tells us how much was covered by that particular node on that particular document, how much of the text. Then we've got the number of codings. Let's make that a bit narrower. And then the reference number of the code. Make that a bit narrower. Who coded it? Well, that's always just going to be one person. Don't need that. The date it was modified, I don't really need that either. And then we've got the actual text itself. So this text, I am sure that most did not even know about the shooting of Mark Duggan, is 3.4% of this file, and the code name is this thing to do with dug and shooting. So what we'd really like to do is get rid of the nodes / / at the start of all these fields, and the files / at the start of all these. So there's a way you can do this with a little bit of programming. You could obviously just do them all by hand, but that's rather tedious. So if you click on the B here at the top, then click on Insert, that creates a blank column. Then I'm going to click on this cell B2 and type equals, and then I want the string on the right hand, so I'm going to actually write, open bracket, then click on A2 as what I'm changing, and then the amount we want is going to be the length, which is len brackets, then click on A2 again, so the whole length of it, and then take off the nodes / that's the first 7 characters. So we don't want those. Close bracket, then enter. So then that just says dug and shooting. Brilliant. Click on that cell again, and then you could just copy and paste, but there is a shortcut with this square in the corner here. You see how the cursor changes into a plus? Then double click. That is called autofill. It's like a copy and paste. So at the moment, each of these cells, if I just click on the first one again, you see it has this formula in. If I click inside the formula bar, it shows you in blue which cells are involved in the formula. It's going to press enter again. So in order to get rid of the column A, if you were to get rid of it now, it would give you an error message because this formula in cell B2 depends on the cell A2. So what we need to do is to copy all of these. So again, I'm going to go Shift and then press, I'm just going to press the arrow this time, and then press the copy button. And now what we want to do is paste the values on top of the formulae. So you go into the paste with this little triangle and then click on this 1, 2, 3 here. That pastes the values on top. So now if we just click on the escape key to get rid of the marching ants, click on B2, you see now it just says dug and shooting. It's got rid of the formula in the formula bar. So that means we can get rid of this column. All we need is the column heading. So let's copy that, put it here, paste it here, and then click on column A, and then click on this delete button again. So that's got rid of it, and now we've retained the text. Double click here, change the width, do the same thing again with the hierarchical name. So I'm going to click here, click on insert. First cell is going to be equals, right, open bracket, click on this cell here, C2, comma, length of, the same thing, C2. Again, the word files is the same length as the word nodes, I think, we're on the other one. So we're just going to put minus and then a 7. Get rid of the first 7 characters. Close bracket, enter. Click on the cell, and then double click again when the cursor turns into a plus. That's actually selected all the data for us. So now we can click on copy, click on paste, and then click on this 1, 2, 3 button. Click on escape, click on the C1 cell, copy, put it in D1, paste, and now we can click on the C at the top, the tab, and then delete this column. So now we have all the text we need. We've turned the coverage into percentages. We know what file things came from. We know the name of the category. So this would be a suitable kind of table to put into maybe your appendix at the end of your final report, and then you could talk about that appendix in your write-up when you give a summary of all the codes that you've created using NVivo.